on Gaza, I wanted to ask a couple of questions. Now, the Israelis ordered Khan Younis evacuation, and we heard the Secretary of State say yesterday that there's no sign that Israel is really lowering the intensity of its attacks on Gaza, and we also hear of looming starvation in Gaza. I mean, this is really a very horrific situation. Are you guys sort of reconciled? This is the order of the day. Things will go on like this indefinitely. I mean, do you have any kind of vision how this thing is going to end? When will it end? What is the United States of America doing about it?
Said, let me say a couple things because I spoke a little bit about this yesterday. I know you were out yesterday, but first, as it relates to the activities in Khan Younis, our viewpoint continues to be that any kind of forced displacement or forced relocation of Palestinians, of course, would be inconsistent with what the United States wants for the region and inconsistent with the principles that the Secretary laid out. That being said, it is, of course, Israel and the IDF has a right to defend itself from terrorism in accordance with international law. And as it is conducting these operations, it is fully appropriate for them to warn and encourage evacuation of civilians from potential areas where they may or may not be conducting operations. But specifically in Khan Younis, we have seen Hamas moving back into areas previously cleared by the Israeli military, and yet just yesterday we understand that Hamas fired 20 rockets at Israel from the East Khan Younis region yesterday. Of course, how these operations are conducted matters, and Israel needs to take every feasible precaution to protect civilians in their operation. But more importantly, Said, to your point about when will this end and when will this conflict end, let's not forget, and I think too often in this room we tend to find ourselves forgetting that just a number of weeks ago, the president laid out the tenets of a ceasefire proposal that would bring the hostages home, that would allow for an influx of humanitarian aid, that would put us on a path to diplomacy for the region, to get us to a region that is more integrated, more secure, and more stable. And at every turn, what we have seen happen is Hamas has moved the goalposts, it has changed the parameters, it has come back asking for different things, even though it had previously approved various iterations of this proposal before. Let's not forget that this is a proposal that Israel had accepted, that the United Nations had accepted, that partners in the Arab world had accepted, and that, of course, as I said, it's something that the United States was pushing for as well. So if there's an interest in seeing this conflict end, if there's an interest in bringing about some sort of relief for the Palestinian people, the solution is quite simple. Hamas can stop haggling and they could accept the ceasefire proposal that has been on the table.
But can you tell us that with certainty that Israel accepts this?
Israel itself said
the Prime Minister of
Israel itself said that it accepted the proposal that the president laid out.
Did the Prime Minister say that himself?
They did.
He said that I accept this proposal as submitted and approved at the Security Council at the United Nations.
Said, I'm happy to help you look at Google after this and look up who in the Israeli government did or did not say things as it relates to the proposal.
One last
but
question.
I just want to be very clear that this is a proposal that Israel itself has said that they supported.
Right.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you one last question on wounded Palestinians telling the BBC, more wounded Palestinians telling the BBC that they have been held as human shields and so on. Are you aware of these reports, and do you have any comment on that?
Sorry, could you be a little bit more specific about what you're referring
to? There were reports by the BBC that more Palestinians, we saw this, I guess, 10 days ago and so on, when the Israelis strapped a wounded Palestinian in the front of a Jeep. Now, it seems that this is basically was used time and time and time again. I was wondering if you are aware of these reports and if you have any comments.
So on those specific reports, Said, we have seen those disturbing reports in the video. The Israeli military and the IDF itself said that it was investigating the incident and that what was portrayed in those videos did not reflect its values and was a clear violation of its orders and procedures. I will let them speak to that, but we call again Israel to swiftly investigate and ensure accountability for any abuses and violations. And we'll continue to make clear to the government of Israel that there are, of course, expectations to behave consistent with the law of armed conflict.